Welcome back to WizNugs. Today we're continuing our series on cognitive distortions. Number 12 on the list of cognitive distortions is jumping to conclusions.
Okay.
Usually with very little, if any, evidence. Someone walks into the room. Well, I know this person's a bad person. Look at the way they walked. They just walked in, and then they just stood there thinking predatory thoughts because they're negative.
Look at that alma mater college shirt that he's wearing. Ugh, I can't believe he went to that school. They'll just take anyone there.
I think this is another one of those that even if you stop and look at this, that's very easy for racism to jump into this too.
Sure.
You see someone of a certain race walk in and you assume certain things about them because of they walked in and they're that race, so therefore they must be thinking about this.
Well, I also think about another example is we got a big project and it's going to be a 6-month project and I need everybody to be here every single day, all times. Well, you know what? I actually have a week of vacation that I need to take. Well, that's just going to make everything worthless and we're not going to be able to hit the target. We're not going to be on time. You're going to throw everything off. Well, you say that.
You're jumping to conclusions about things that you don't know about.
Yeah, and there's no evidence of that of yet. There's no reason to say that the work can't be done early or we can organize it accordingly so that time off is accounted for. So I don't necessarily have to sacrifice everything in order to make you feel better for this particular project. We're not even started it yet, and you're already jumping to the conclusion that it's not going to be done on time because I have something that I've already planned for and I need to do.
And that leads right into the next one, which is blaming.
Yes.
So if that manager in that situation can say, I'm uneasy about this because I'm concerned about the timeline in the project and I am afraid of failure, and therefore, if you say that you're going to take a week off of vacation that's been scheduled for however long, I'm going to take all of my negative energy and channel it through and blame it on you as the source and cause of all of the problems because this project is going to fail because of you. Really? Really? In a very complicated project with multiple people and multiple teams that are all kind of working together trying to make this happen over the course of several months, one person for 1 week is going to cause the entire thing to come crashing down? That's a flawed perspective. That is a cognitive distortion.
So an example of that, 2 previous companies that I was at, we had a project that had been worked on for months, and they kept pushing it back. They kept pushing it back. And I kept pushing back my vacation time. I finally came down to the last month of the year, and I had like 2 weeks I had to take or I was going to lose it. I was like, that was their company policy. You either take it or you lose it.
As a way of trying to incentivize people to take their time so that they actually get breaks.
Yep. So I talked to my manager and said, hey, I have 2 weeks of vacation I need to take or I'm going to lose it. What do we do? And he said, okay, I'm going to give you a couple of other developers and they're going to go ahead and you fill them in on what's done and what's waiting for. I said, everything's done. The code is done. Here's where it's located. It's already been tested and QA passed. It's all done. They just need to be here for the deployment. That's all they need to do. If you want me to show them how it works, fine, I'll do that. But all they need to do is to deploy the code. That's really all that needs to be done. And they're like, okay, that's fine. So they gave me 2 developers. I showed them how it worked. I showed them where the files were located. I said, okay, you guys are good to go. You should be fine. And we actually had 2 meetings where we went over it. Okay? And then I go on vacation. 3 days into my first week of vacation, a project manager calls me and says, hey, we're going to do the deployment tonight. Can you be on? No, I'm on vacation. Well, I really expected you would be on. This is your project. I was like, I had 2 people take my place.
There's a plan in place here.
Yes, there are 2 people that are going to be on the deployment. Well, if it doesn't go well, it's going to be your fault. Why is it going to be my fault? They're 2 capable developers, and all they got to do is deploy the code.
That's a cognitive distortion on that guy's part.
So I said, fine, I will be on that call tonight. So I waited by the phone. Deployment was supposed to happen at 9 o'clock. I didn't get a call. So I call in and say, hey, what's going on? Oh, we postponed it. How about communicating that to me? Okay. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. And so the next day, I get a call from the same guy. Oh, okay, we're going to do it tonight. I'm not going to be on that call. Oh, well, I'm going to have to let your manager know. Well, you let him know. That's fine.
He already knows that I'm not going to be on that call because we had this conversation before I left on vacation.
So fast forward to when I come back. It's now the end of the year. Now everybody else is on vacation. They did the deployment. It went fine. They did have to bring in somebody else, a senior dev, to kind of come in and just oversee it because the two other developers were unsure about what they were doing for whatever reason. Anyway, I had to go in the meeting with my manager, and we went over, well, so-and-so told me that, you weren't really being very helpful during. I said, we already went through this. We had multiple meetings. You assigned me these people. What should I have done differently that I didn't already do? And he said, no, you're right. You did everything exactly the way that you were supposed to do and the way that you were supposed to do it. Okay, well, I don't know what the problem is. He said, no, there's no problem. Okay.
And to be able to have that support, I think oftentimes it takes the humility and the positive mindset to do what you said of, what should I have done differently? Walk me through this. Help me learn the better way.
Yep.
Because if what I did didn't work for this company, I intend to keep working here. I intend to continue to be a contributing member of the team. What did I do wrong? Should I have taken the vacation time further up when I had originally planned it? Because we said that there was a freeze on vacation. I was just trying to be a team player, but I can understand if that's not helpful.
Yep.
But to be able to stop and say, let's find solutions instead of the pointing fingers and the blaming.
Yep.
So far, most of these have been focused kind of in the past. We've been talking about blaming and overgeneralizing. The next one is the what if.
Okay.
Much more future oriented. It's this idea of now taking this negative mindset and pointing it toward the future and thinking of all the things that could possibly go wrong. What if my car breaks down while I'm driving to work? What if this person doesn't like the thing that I said? What if my kids hate the meal that I made for them?
What if the company that I work for goes under?
There's all these things that we can do. And, we can be prepared for these things. It doesn't hurt to be prepared, to have a backup plan for, certain things. We talked about the story, Who Moved My Cheese?
Right.
Part of this is the idea of being prepared for eventualities. Things change. There are problems. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I have AAA, so I can call them. If my car breaks down on the side of the road, I can call them and they'll show up and fix it or tow me someplace where they can fix it. If there's a reasonable expectation that something could go wrong, then make plans for it. Have a first aid kit in your car, right? These are things that we can do that are not like going through the stratosphere on a problem.
But knowing that you can't plan for all contingencies. There's going to be some things that you can prepare for, and there's going to be some unknowns. We don't know what we don't know.
And you'll deal with them when they come.
And so when it happens at work, if it's like, well, what if, this person's sick, or what if something happens with the way that we have things planned out and we get behind, what are we going to do then? So this is why we need you to be here. This is why we need you to put in the extra hours. We know that we tell you that we pay you for 8 hours a day, but what if something goes wrong? We really would need you to be here like 10 or 12 hours.
You need to be on call at all times. Keep that phone with you because something could go wrong.
What if we need you in the middle of the night? You're not going to take your laptop with you? You should have your laptop with you at all times, just in case.
And there are some businesses that operate this way, and that expectation needs to be clearly communicated. But at the same time, these things, many of them can be planned for in advance so that there are contingencies.
Right.
That brings us to number 15 on the list, the last one, unfair comparisons.
Okay.
Basically, anytime that you're comparing two things, it's probably an unfair comparison.
Right.
Because we're looking in this situation. Now, if you've got a glass of Coke and a glass of Pepsi and you're trying to choose which one you like better, fair enough. But if you're saying, I should be farther along than I am right now.
Going back to the should. Yep.
It's really easy to look at someone who's got it put together, or at least appears to have everything put together.
Again, subjectively, right?
And to say, because I'm not like that person, I'm a failure.
So for me, I do a comparison of when new people come into work, I'm always comparing myself to what their technical skills are, what their programming skills are. And they might be a lot younger and a lot further along than I was, or I am currently, or at least at that age. If somebody comes in as a lower level dev and they're like doing awesome things, and I'm like, I didn't know how to do that at that age. Man, I'm an idiot. What am I now? What am I now that I mean, I'm so far along. I've been doing this now for 17 years, and this guy comes in and he's showing me stuff that I didn't know you could even do. Man, I'm worthless.
Or to look at the professional athlete or the Olympian and say, well, they're like 20 and they can do all of these amazing things. And I'm in my 40s and I can't do any of that.
Right.
Like,
Well,
I'm such a loser.
to be fair, as the body ages, right? Even if we were an amazing athlete at that age, 20 years now senior, yeah, we're probably not going to be as agile and as strong. Some people, sure. But I think like in professional sports, I think that's the time where you really have a hard time comparing yourself to the younger guy, because the younger guy hasn't been playing 18 seasons in the NFL. He hasn't been hit or sacked or tackled or any of that nature as many times. He hasn't had, broken bones and pulled muscles and all the things that you've gone through. So your level of performance is probably not going to be as strong as that guy is, but that's only because he hasn't had the experience that you've had.
Well, or to look at the people who are successes in business, especially at a young age. You look at like Bill Gates or Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Richard Branson, and you see that these are guys that just kind of went out and made stuff happen.
Yep.
And well, I haven't made stuff happen to the scale that they have, and therefore I'm a complete failure.
I always think of the time like what we talked about where if I could just come up with an app, if I could just make an app, if I could just figure out how to make this app, and this all I need is the one app. Not
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird. That's the
Man.
one. That's the one we talked about before. I was going to say Angry Bird, but I knew that wasn't the right one.
Flappy Bird's the one that gets me. It's such a simple game, and it's even the graphics are very simple and low key. But man, that guy was making like $1 million a day. It was just ridiculous. So I just got to think, if I could just do that, what's my app? What's my app? What's my stupid thing that suddenly is going to go completely viral and change my life?
I prefer to use the word brilliant because depending on the connotation, it could mean stupid or awesome, right? That was brilliant.
So now we've gone through the list of these cognitive distortions, and I think it's really easy to see that we fall prey to these all the time. Even someone who's working on a positive mindset is going to hit some of these speed bumps.
And one leads to the other, and it lends itself to the other. So it's really easy to go across almost the entire gambit in a particular mental thought process of like starting off from the very top and you're working your way through it. And they just one leads into the other and leads into the other and leads into the other. And then when you come out of it, you're thinking that you're worthless and why do you even bother? Why do I even try? What does it all mean? It's meaningless. It's a very easy way to go down that hole.
So the antidote to this is think about evidence. It's to make sure that you're covering, like we've said a couple of times, your physical bases, that you're well hydrated, that your blood sugar is not abnormally low, that you're getting exercise so that your systems are functioning properly. You're getting enough sleep, that kind of thing. And then when you hit one of these cognitive distortions, pause, ask yourself, is this true? And if so, what evidence do I have to back that up?
I think about the company that I just left. It was there for 6 years. In that time frame, I didn't have a single negative review. Even 1 year, it was practically glowing. And that was like the second year I was there. And I'm like, no, I'm a great dev. I'm an outstanding dev. Do I have faults and problems? Yep. Do I make bugs on occasion? Yep, it happens. But overall, it's been an outstanding evaluation every single time.
So searching for that evidence can help bring you out of that negative spot. The other good one is to compare yourself to your past self. This is one space where journaling can be really helpful because you can actually look back and say, what was my mindset like then?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I've learned so much since then. I can't believe that I once thought that. And now I'm here. Wait a minute, now that I'm here, I'm thinking this other thing. Well, okay. Looking at where I was, where I am now, where I want to be in the future, can I see that it's going to be okay based on it's been okay up until now and I found ways to resolve problems as they come?
Yep.
Okay. I may not know what the problems are going to be that are going to come, but I can be confident in my ability to rise to that challenge.
Yep. Look for a history of consecutive successes and build on that. Look at all the things that you've been able to achieve and accomplish all on your own through your own will, through your own efforts. For me, again, going back to work, going to be at place number 5. I pray to God, God willing, this is the last place because I really would like to be able to settle in and be content. Every single place I've been at, I've been able to get in, prove myself in a short amount of time, and become successful and become a reliable asset to the company.
Another way that we can challenge cognitive distortions is with mindset. We've talked about the surfer mindset in the past.
Right.
Recognizing that waves are going to come. We're going to get to ride them or we're going to miss them. There's another wave coming. Let's ride it and enjoy it. Let's get in.
And we talked about stoicism as a way to be able to handle things as they come and being able to deal with life in general. And the obstacle is the way.
This concludes our series on cognitive distortions. We hope that some of these things have been helpful for you.
It's very easy to think negatively about ourselves. I mean, it's been said that we are our own worst enemy, and that's true in a lot of cases. But build upon your successes in your life and know that you overall are a success. Try to remember that every little negative thing that happens in your life is not a definitive quality of you as a person.
Thanks for joining us on WizNugs. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us today on WizNugs. If you liked what you heard, spread the word. For more information, head over to mywiznugs.com.